I don't know how many people that are watching this channel are here from day one. Frankly, if any, who knows? But my channel started on April 13th, 2019. That was almost 3 years ago. This is the very first ever video I made. It was Will Brian Flores workout in Miami. And in that video, I said this. I believe Flores knows he's part of a rebuilding team and knows he probably won't have a good first year. But what about the future? Not gonna lie, but I have a theory. Although in this case, I guess it's more of a conspiracy. I actually don't think Flores is in for the long run. I mean, why wouldn't he be in charge of the team if he was? I think simply Ross wants to start over and use Flores as advice. And once the Dolphins start to look more like a complete football team, we'll look for someone who is actually in charge of the team and probably more offensive minded. And if Brian Flores does turn out to be a good coach, then Ross will probably think about keeping him instead. Now, for Brian Flores' sake, I hope not, but I'm starting to believe that. Alright, so obviously ignore the low budget quality of that video, and maybe still today, I don't know. But the point is, I was making a conspiracy that Brian Flores was probably not in the Dolphins' long-term plans. And from what we're finding out, I actually might have been, I don't want to say spot on, but very accurate. This is not a video for me to brag about what happened, because there is no reason to brag about something like this. This is not a good thing that just happened. But I think it's more just, unfortunately, I just sort of understood what was going on a little bit better than most people, and I'm not happy to say that it is the case, I guess. I'm really trying not to make it sound like a boasting thing, so we'll just kind of end that there. But basically, Brian Flores is saying that in 2019, before he got hired, the Broncos asked for an interview, but he thinks that they were just one of those teams that was trying to check off the Rooney Rule and just be like, oh, you know, we're interviewing a black head coach, but we're not actually going to take him seriously. We're just trying to make ourselves look good. Now, honestly, knowing the Broncos, if anyone knows anything about John Elway, it's not hard to think that he's a very typical rich white billionaire that is just has some very dated opinions, I guess we'll put it that way. I don't actually know John Elway personally, but from the looks of it, he is one of those people, and everyone can tell. So this one certainly does not surprise me. He said that the Broncos showed up like hours late to the interview, or just definitely late, and that John Elway and a few other Broncos staff members were very clearly hungover from the night before and just didn't actually take him that seriously. So he thinks that there was some racial discrimination going on there. And then with the Dolphins, once he got hired, he was saying that Stephen Ross, the owner, was going to pay him $100,000 for every game that he lost. Meaning that, by the way, tanking is a thing in the NFL. There's people that don't believe that, but very clearly him and then Hugh Jackson also said the same thing that happened with him with the Cleveland Browns, kind of proved that teams do intentionally tank. Obviously, not every single person in the building is going to want to tank. The players don't want to tank, the coaches don't want to tank, but the people like the owners and the general managers, that's not like their job. They like decide, all right, we're going to tank and get a better draft pick. So who cares about these players? Like, it's not our problem at this point. We don't care about the coaches. Like, for all of you people that don't think tanking is a thing, there you go. It is very clearly a thing. Anyway, moving on. So Brian Flores was saying, like, that's just not how you play the game of football. Like, I essentially just feel like the placeholder, which is kind of what I was predicting happen. I think they were just like, okay, let's get someone from the Patriots system so they can at least build the roster, kind of show us how they do it. And then, I don't know, maybe Stephen Ross was also one of those people that was like, oh, let's get a black guy in there, but not actually for that long. You know, who knows? It's, again, another rich white billionaire. You don't want to assume every single thing about everybody, but sometimes it's just kind of like, come on. But yeah, so he thinks that happened, and he did get fired, even though he was doing really good with the Dolphins. Everyone was surprised when he got fired. And I thought, okay, well, he's going to get a job immediately, right? He still hasn't gotten a job yet. And he did get an interview with the New York Giants, or at least he was scheduled one, and he was saying that it kind of seemed like it was probably a sham. That the Giants knew they were going to hire Brian Daboll right away, but they had to interview Brian Flores because, again, the Rooney Rule. They had to just kind of make themselves look good. So I guess Bill Belichick, from what I understand, I think knew about that already and accidentally sent a congratulations text to Brian Flores instead of Brian Daboll, which kind of like confirmed Brian Flores' theory. Please, if I'm wrong about any of this, correct me. Because I really do want to be educated on stuff like this. But from what I understand, this is what Brian Flores is suing the Dolphins, Broncos, Giants, and just the NFL as a whole for, because he just thinks basically there's some racial discrimination going on against him. And he acknowledges that this could cost him his career, his future career in the NFL. I think he is... the Saints and the Texans are looking at him. Hopefully he gets those jobs. But and also I should also point out that this is being recorded on Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022 at 7:27 p.m. So if anything happens after this, just remember that this is before any of that happens. But anyway, that's basically what's going on with Brian Flores. I'm not proud to say I was right about that happening. Or at least close to being right. But unfortunately, this is just how the world works. And I'm not trying to kind of end this video by saying, oh, that's just how it works, deal with it. That's actually far from what I'm saying. Just kind of hear me out on this. I just want people to, before they talk about stuff like this, acknowledge how the world works, I guess is what I'm trying to do. The NFL is a big corporate company. And everyone obviously knows that big corporate companies are like this. Like, they're very, it's just ran by a lot of, like, it's hard to do this without triggering some people, but let's just keep it real. Ran by rich white people that think in a very old way that should not be the way we ever thought, but especially not now. I guess that's just the way I'm going to put it. People are always like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this company would do that. Oh, did you hear about Disney doing this? Oh, did you hear about that politician doing that? Guys, they're corporate companies. They're politicians. They're seriously, this is what the world is. This is what the world is built off of. Stop getting surprised by this stuff. So, Brian Flores was making an effort to change that. And for his sake, well, not just for his sake, but for the world at this point. I hope to God he wins. I really do. I actually will say, with all of that being said about what I said about the NFL being a corporate company ran by certain people, I do think Roger Goodell is at least a more genuine person than other people. I'll just kind of end it there. I don't know everything about Roger Goodell. I don't know him. I'm not going to assume everything, but I do think he's at least trying to put in more effort in fixing this than some other companies do. And who knows, maybe he's another example of, oh, we just got to make the NFL look good or whatever. And he very well could be, by the way. But I do think that there is a legitimate chance that things can fix, because I think Brian Flores does have that authority. That's why the players in Miami really liked him, because he was very relatable, down to earth. He kept saying it in his interview with ESPN. He was a man of truth. The Dolphins just respected him. He knew how to build a team. And it's also why I respected him a ton. I was not happy when the Dolphins fired him. I don't want to make it sound like I'd totally disagreed. Before I knew any of this stuff, I was just kind of guessing from a football standpoint why it happened. And I was like, I kind of get it, I guess. I think they chose the wrong side. Personally, you probably know which other side that is. That's for another video. I'll get to it eventually. But yeah, anyway, I still think they chose the wrong side. But now that Brian Flores is coming out saying that he thinks that's what happened to him, and I'm thinking back to the conspiracy I made 3 years ago, I'm like, oh no, it doesn't have anything to do with football, does it? So I guess just the way I'll end the video is by saying to people, for any black folk watching this, I guess I just want you to know that, like, I'm doing my ever so hardest to try and help, and I really want you to tell me how I and other people in my position can help. Um, Obviously, being quiet's not going to do anything. I do agree. I don't want to go super crazy on social media like I did back in 2020. I think I handled things a little immaturely around that time. I do admit to it. And I also know there's certain people that just aren't going to change their mind because they're too brainwashed, because they only listen to certain people. It's just certain people, honestly, it's like, don't even waste your time with them. But people who are very logical thinkers, who can open their mind to things, let's at least try to appeal to them, because eventually they'll ignore all the other people and they'll eventually give up and go away, I guess is my thinking. But this is going to sound like a very classic white guy thing of me to say, but I do have a black girlfriend, so this especially hits hard for me. I have a lot of empathy for everybody, but this group especially to me, but not just because obviously I have someone near and dear to my heart that's in that that's black. I've been with her for 3 years and I intend to marry her soon. It's for other people. I mean, I just have natural empathy for other people. So stuff like this, like, I like to keep things football related, but when it's time to be serious and talk about serious issues, that's what I'm going to do. So I just hope that things can change. And Brian Flores, man, I'm rooting you on like crazy, man. You have been my favorite head coach of the Dolphins in my time. It's not even close. I cannot think of a coach that comes remotely close to Brian Flores for me. He's like, there's a lot of players, or there's a lot of fans that like get mad when you defend certain players, or when you make fun of certain players or whatever, and they defend them. And it's kind of like, okay, are you a fan of the team or are you a fan of the player? But this is a situation where I really, if I had to choose between Brian Flores or the Dolphins on which one I'm a fan over, I think I actually would say Brian Flores. And it's not just because, oh, it's a human, he's a human, sorry. It's just because he's a good, genuine guy. And I hope he gets another job. I hope he changes things. And I think the Dolphins made a mistake. I think so many teams made a mistake. Wherever he ends up going next, I hope he wins a Super Bowl. Seriously, Brian, I hope you the best. And I hope for change more than anything. I'm probably rambling at this point, but yeah, just very serious topic. Thank you guys for sticking me out with that one. I promise this is going to be a football-related channel. I know some people are kind of like, oh my God, like, just, I didn't log onto this channel to watch politics. I wanted to watch the Dolphins. I get that. But sometimes you need to talk about serious things. But anyway, so hopefully I didn't just kind of take, 12 minutes to just ramble. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please take care. Please be safe. And more than anything, guys, please just be nice to people. It's really not that hard. And if you're one of those people that like thinks you're a nice person, but you're actually really mean, I would say just go check yourself. Just please be nice to people. It is really not that hard, guys. And I will do that to myself, by the way, because I acknowledge there's mistakes. I need to chill out on certain things that I get emotional about. Just be nice to people, okay? That's all I ask. Take care.